Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the fairway, which is very rare, and we've got 50 yards to the green. We're on the 9th hole here at Glenbervie Golf Club, and we've got a 50-yard pitch shot. This shot is a lot of golfers' nemesis, and I'm going to talk you through an easy setup process, an easy checklist to adhere to within your practice. It's going to make this shot a little bit easier to execute. So what we've got here is the pins 20 yards on the green. We need to hit the shot 30 yards to get the ball to land on the green. So many golfers who struggle with a shot, they don't actually understand flat spot on the green is. So we want to land the ball in the flattest possible spot. What we've got here is we've got a green that's slightly raised, the pin position's in a slightly flat position. So what we're going to do, many golfers who struggle with a shot, they take too much loft. Golfers take too much loft. If you're this golfer, for example, you take a 54, you need to hit the ball slightly harder to get the ball to land quite close to the hole. So what we're going to do here, the biggest advice I can give to anyone, if you're struggling with a shot, get the ball to the green as quickly as possible. The land angle is going to be quite steep, meaning that the ball is going to stop quite quickly. So if you're this golfer, we're going to ditch the 58, nice and simple. So before you hit the shot, have a think about where you want the ball to land. Have a think about how that club selection is going to dictate the outcome of the shot. So if you're this golfer, we don't want to place the golf ball too far back in the stance, hands too far ahead like that. That is a recipe for disaster. The leading edge is going to dig into the ground. And remember what we need to do with golf, we need to give ourselves the widest margin for error. If we get the ball too far back, the hands too far ahead, we're going to create too much of an angle in this right wrist, and the palm is going to be pointing too much down towards the ground. And what's going to happen off soft ground, we're just going to dig the leading edge into the ground. The club's going to come into the impact position with less loft. The ball's going to go low, it's going to come higher in the face, and we're going to get shots almost like this. As you can see from there, the club's just went straight into the ground. So if you're somebody that struggles with a pitch, and here's a simple exercise you can do. So grab a tee, we're going to tee up our wedge shots. For somebody that struggles with pitching and using too much leading edge, grab a tee, start teeing your pitch shots up in practice. Obviously you can't do that in a competition. We don't want to do that in a competition, or your friends will be calling you a cheat. If you get too much shaft lean, the right palm goes too much towards the ground. So start hitting some shots, tee the ball up. The ball's kind of in the middle of stance, we stand kind of shoulder width apart. To use the bounce, what we need to do is understand how the right hand works. Somebody that struggles with too much shaft lean and the leading edge digging in, right palm goes too much towards the ground, right palm to the sky. That's another good drill. So throw right palm to the sky. So your feet should be shoulder width apart, just flare that left foot open slightly. So that should feel like your left hip's a little bit lower to keep your pressure a little bit more into your left side. And all you're really going to do from here is think of the club head and the grip. All we're really doing from there is trying to return the club head and the grip back at impact at the same angle. If you struggle with pitching, grip end goes too far forward, club head goes too far behind the golf ball. So what we're going to do, feeling from here, we're just going to go halfway back, so hip height to hip height, trying to keep the hands in the middle of my chest all the way through the shot. So my right hip has to go back slightly, the hands have to be slightly in the middle of my chest, and as I release the club, the hands have to still be in the middle of my chest. There's some shots off the tee. You're trying to get the back edge of the club to hit the ground 1 or 2 inches before the ball. If you're somebody that gets too steep, where the club hits the ground in front of the golf ball. Remember, because we've got less loft, we don't need to hit the ball as hard, meaning that our probability of striking the middle of the club face is going to be slightly better. So just get it down the club slightly, that's going to help you take a bit of power off the shot. Ball kind of in the middle of your stance. All you're going to do from there is chest halfway back, chest halfway through, bring the club into impact. The grip end of the club points back towards your belt buckle. If you drag the club forward like this, you create too much of an angle. Think of the relationship between the grip end of the club and your right forearm. That relationship, the grip end goes forward, too much of a gap compared to your right forearm. As you swing the club back, it's almost the feeling that the grip end of the club is almost returning back to try and hit your right forearm on the way through. So it's almost the feeling that grip end's going back towards your right forearm. That's almost going to feel like the club head slightly overtakes the hands. So you drag the club forward, the club head goes too far forward and down. What we're trying to do is get the grip end of the club to fall back so it hits your right forearm almost like that. So it's almost the feeling from there. Your thumbs are pointing straight down towards the ground a little bit earlier compared to the golf ball. And then our feeling to achieve that is try and get grip end of the club to work back towards your right forearm, almost in this action. That's going to help you shallow out, and it's also going to help you use the bounce. So almost get the grip end of the club to fall back to hit your right forearm on the way back. Try and keep a little bit more bend in that right arm. And another piece of the puzzle, try and get chest to the target, keeping your hands nice and close to your body. So if you want to use the bounce simple drill, it's a grip up to your elbow, swing back. If I get too much shaft lean, grip end of the club works away from your forearm. So what you're trying to do from there, keep the grip quite close to your right forearm all the way through. So as you return the club into impact, the grip stays on your right forearm. That's going to feel a little bit strange, but it's going to feel like the grip and club head line up at impact. Here, one-handed shots, grip end to fall back, so it hits your right forearm. That's a good drill to try and help you utilise the bounce. Another good feeling from there is you're going to feel like as you come through, right palm to the sky, chest towards the target. That's another good feeling. 50-yard shot, we're going to swing at 50%. Ball in the middle of the stance, weight a little bit more into your front foot. Just turn that left foot open. All we're going to do from here, hands, middle of the chest, hands, middle of the chest, chest facing the target on the way through. Everything has to be nice and soft, nice and lazy. That's another good feeling. It's going to help you achieve more success. Don't yank the handle where the grip end goes forward. So it's almost the feeling the grip end is going back towards the middle of your belt buckle, and that's a nice soft release. So keep the grip nice and loose. Swing the club back, hands to the middle of the chest, nice and soft. Release the club, grip, and the club head arrive at the golf ball at the same time. I'm going to feel like contact's a little bit lower in the face, and as I come from there, I'm going to feel like chest to the target. Feel like I've got a nice soft release on the way through. So I'm just clipping the ball off the tee. If you're somebody that struggles with the pitching, tee the ball up. Mastered that art of hitting the ball off the tee to start off with. What you're going to do is you're going to try and hit the ball off the ground. Now all I'm going to try and feel like I'm doing is I'm going to try and get the trailing edge, which is the back edge of the club, to hit the ground first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place another tee slightly behind the golf ball I'm trying to hit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a tee slightly behind the golf ball, and I'm going to visualise, if you're somebody that struggles with a little bit too steep an angle attack, leading edge digging in, you're going to feel like line up to this golf ball, get the sole of the club to hit the ground where the tee is, and then that's going to help you create a little bit more loft on the club, and it's going to enable you to try and utilise the bounce. And as I come through, grip end of the club's working back towards my belt buckle. Hands finish relatively close to the middle of your belt buckle, or slightly left pocket if you want to hit the ball a little bit low.